Yo, what's up guys, Universal Mastery. So what I do on my channel is I break down the occult sciences and I break them down to an extremely practical level so that you can use them in your day-to-day life and get real actual results. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is what is the process of reaching godhood. Stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is definitely make sure you go and check out my Patreon. Where you're going to be able to find the Patreon is you go to the description. It's going to be that first link at the very top. And what I do on there is I break down the occult sciences on there, and I have 50-50% of videos. So half of the videos are going to be geared towards actual spiritual practices where I'm showing you exactly how to do them. And I'm breaking them down step by step so that you understand how to do them as well. Okay, so I have a video, for example, of me doing an invocation, and I'm telling you how to do it so you can get success. Okay, an invocation is one of the most important things that you can know in the occult practices once you're getting, as a beginner and just in general. Okay, mostly as a beginner though. You know, that's where you want to start because that will lead you down different avenues of growth. The other half of the videos are going to be geared towards educational entertainment, which is very similar to a video like this one. You know, the video is entertaining, but you're also getting a lot of value from it. Okay, so once again, that you know where to find the Patreon. In order to gain access to the exclusive videos, you have to at least be a tier 2 member. So in order to be a tier 2, it literally comes out to $9.95 a month, and that's a reoccurring payment. But that literally costs less than $1 a day. So there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that with the value that I have on there. And I promise on that. And I'm continuously uploading on there weekly videos that are not on my YouTube channel. So definitely make sure you go and check that out. And as you go up in tiers, the benefits go up as well. And I would like to give a special shout out to the top tier members. Their names are going to be mentioned in the parentheses below. And I just want to say that I love all my Patreon members. I love all you guys. Okay. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So what is the process of reaching godhood? Okay. So what are some other words that I can add into this? What is the process of reaching your highest potential? What is the process of becoming your best self? What is the process of unlocking your inner daemon and literally being a reincarnation of your inner, most powerful spirit? Okay, what is the process of the hero's journey that's talked about in I'm forgetting what the name of the book is, but it's a commonly known process where you essentially go into hell and you come back, or you come out on the other side as a changed, transformed person, and you recreate your life from that point. So what is the process exactly? Okay, so first thing I want to say is this process is directly connected to something that is called the Kabbalah Tree of Life. Okay, the Tree of Life is a very intricate, science-based spirit occult science. Okay, it's a very intricate occult science. That's probably the best way I can say it. And the more you study it, the more you're going to know the mechanics and the different steps you have to take and the different levels and different degrees of this spiritual development. Okay, but what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to summarize it in a different way. So I'm going to give you just I'm going to simplify it. Okay, so the process is that when you start on your journey, how do you start the journey? Okay, the first thing is when you want to, there's a few ways to start. Okay, the first thing that will enter you into this journey is the realization that you're already in it. And it really starts from your mindset. Okay, so with the intention of wanting to know more, with the intention of wanting to reach your highest potential, be your best self, and overcome your obstacles and your challenges, that will initiate you in this process of development. You will get to a certain point where you will come across the occult sciences. There will be a certain point where you come face to face with the occult sciences if you're progressing on the journey. Now, when you come across the occult sciences, then you'll be presented with another aspect of this spiritual system, which is the darker aspect. Not everyone chooses to go down that road, but some do, and the ones that do take it to the next level. They learn a little bit farther. And what's some symbolism that I can give you that kind of just represents, you know, what's some manifestation in our day-to-day life that kind of explains that process? Well, we look at martial arts, right? You start as a white belt and you finish, if you work your, you know, put in the work and all that stuff, as a black belt. Okay, it's the final thing, the black belt. What else is there? Anything that you can connect. I want you to think right now, whoever's watching this, whatever ends with something dark or black, right? It's as like the final product, like, which is symbolized a lot. I don't know why I can't think of it right now, but I know there's other things out there that finish, you know, as black. You know, something dark represents a mastery. Like sometimes I don't know if you guys have had this happen, but sometimes when I would be in the workplace, whoever was the best person in the workplace, they would call him a wizard, or they would call her a wizard. And that's a dark thing as well. Like a wizard is dark for sure. But, you know, that's just another symbolism of what, you know, how this system manifests itself in physical reality. So eventually you'll come across the occult sciences. Then in order to initiate that process, you're going to have to start engaging in some form of ritual and some form of meditation, because this is where it gets, you know, it goes to a different level. You have to go a little bit deeper, and you have to embrace the occult spirituality. You have to embrace spirits. You have to embrace energy. You have to literally embrace the shadow of yourself. You have to embrace the dark aspect of yourself that has been repressed over a long time. Now, when this process takes place, you will eventually lead yourself to a spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, psychological death, which will come towards the crossing of the abyss. Now, when you're traveling the path the first time around, so when you, as I said from the very beginning, like when you have the intention where you want to reach your highest self, on that journey, what's going to happen is you're going to have many different ego deaths, right? There's going to be things that literally come and they mess with your head. They mess with your mind. They're challenging you. They're trying to make you stronger. They're showing you different things of life. And then you'll get to a place where you've had so many little ego deaths, and then you will have an experience of, if you continue to go, which would be a similar experience of crossing the abyss. So you will have reached a level of understanding what it's like to die to your ego and your psychology and your mental states, and even on a spiritual level. Okay, you will have experience with that. When you move from that level into the next one, which is the darker, like going through the process again, but in a much more profound way, in a much more intense way, the death that you'll experience the second time around is going to be way more intense. It's going to be a lot more life transforming. So what'll happen is, you know, once again, from the very beginning, it comes with the intentions. Everything's physical for you. Then you start to climb. You start to learn about, you know, what it's like to care about people, what it's like to, you know, speak from the heart and have intentions and, you know, serve justice and things in that nature. Then you have that little death where you're like, wow, you know, there's probably more to life. And that death should show you that there are darker things in life, but they're not something that you should be afraid of. They're something that you should embrace. So you'll go through that death. You'll make it out to the other side. You'll have a new understanding of life, and then you'll be presented, if you came to the right understandings, if you realize, like, if you came to the realization there's not really good and evil, truthfully, there is no good and evil. There's just positive and negative. It's how you perceive it. When you come to that realization, then you'll be able to enter through the second, you could say, journey of initiation, which is, once again, that darker journey. It's the much darker journey, but this journey will show you a lot of mysteries and uncover a lot of mysteries for yourself. If you choose to go down that road, that's when you will come across information that will show you how to proceed down that road. So, not everyone goes there. Not everyone is ready to receive that information, but it does get to those that are ready for it. So then, if you decide to work through that process, then you'll go through a whole new self-development system again. You'll have many different ego deaths. You'll be learning new things about your shadow, more so self-reflecting, rather than experiencing with the outer world saying, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is what I care about, this is who I want to help. This experience, the second experience around, is going to be more like, who am I? Why do I act this way? Why do I do things this way? It's going to be a much more self-reflective experience, because it's gonna really talk to you about your shadow. And what these two different processes that I'm talking about is Sephiroth and the clip-off. Okay, so these are two different aspects of the tree of life in general, just for those of you that do know about these systems. So then, you'll be learning a lot of, darker things and darker aspects of life. And during this process, you'll really embrace a lot of what is called negative energies. You'll embrace a lot of chaos. And it's going to show you that in that chaos and from those negative energies, there's a lot of learning. There's a lot of teachings that you'll receive. And you'll really come to the understanding that there really is no such thing as evil. There's just such thing as evolution. And that's what needs to happen. No matter what, good, evil does not fucking matter. There are people that make the wrong choices. There are people that do terrible things. And the truth is that if what they're doing is going against, the higher evolution of mankind, then they will be punished for it. And the universe, their own their own effect to what they've caused will come back to them. But there are always going to be people that do terrible things, because that's just how the balance of Earth works. And it's just a fact. There's people out there that fight that, and it's just not where I'm at. It's not where where my state is. But there's people out there that fight that. I can fight it on a different level. I fight it with evolving. I fight it with becoming my best self. And because I know what I believe to be wrong and right. So anything that comes in my path that I see as wrong, I can fight that spiritually. And that's how energy works around me. I don't have many enemies, because people who come against me get shut down very quick. It's almost like something surrounds me, and then people that try to stop me from what I'm doing, because I'm so aligned, or I'm doing what I should be doing, something happens to those people, and I never hear from them again. So, and I'm not really doing much. And there has been times where I've specifically done things to remove people from my life, and you don't want me to do that, because that must be intense. And I've seen it. I've done it to people, and I see them disappear like that. I don't mean like disappear from Earth, but disappear out of my life. Like, they would be in my life, and I would use the powers that I know how to access to remove them, because they were causing harm in my life or preventing me from doing what I wanted or needed to do. And they were gone like that. Very crazy. So yeah, so that is what it is. So yeah, during that process of traveling the darker, through the darker path of life, you come to that realization that everything has its poles and everything has its polarities, and that experience of going through the darker side of life shoots you on that lower end of the pole. But as you go through that, and as you will eventually cross the abyss, you'll die again on a much more profound level. What that experience does is it really gets you in touch with your spirit. It really gets you in touch with your highest self, and you learn so much about your ego. You learn so much about your spirit, and you know how to take mastery over yourself. Which is the whole sole purpose of, pretty much that whole process is building that inner connection and making it strong and solidifying it. Then what happens when you come out of that process is you come back to a state of feeling, a whole bunch of energy again. You had the pole, you were on the negative pole, and it shoots back to the positive because everything has balance. And then you have a much stronger awareness of life and yourself and how things operate, so you have much more control over your reality because you have much more control over your subconscious mind. And when I say control, I don't mean like trying to hold on to things or micromanage things, but I mean just a control over yourself that emanates control over your reality, making sure everything is where it needs to be for yourself and everything works out the way it needs to work. So that is literally in a nutshell what the spiritual journey of self-evolution is. And then from that point, once you've made it through that second journey, from going through the darker initiations and the darker trials and challenges and all that stuff, you are essentially reborn once, as I said, reborn again through that death process. And now you can create your life knowing what you are, who you are, and what you're here and what you want to create. And from that point, you have a lot of freedom because you know who you are, you know what you want to create, you know what you're doing, and you're essentially in your kingdom. And you're a very integrated, balanced being because you have gone through all those experiences. Meanwhile, other people are still concerned with politics, and other people are still concerned with good and evil and doing the right thing. And that's okay. That's where they're at. But now you're operating from a space of self-evolution, and you're building your empire, and you're helping others do the same thing, when that's what's really going to transform the earth and people and just everything. You know, as within, as without. The more I develop myself, the more I will emanate an energy that will cause other people to want to develop themselves. And that's so powerful because that's why we're fucking here. We're here to develop. We're here to become our best selves. Okay? Like, let's remember that, guys. We're not here to fucking be in warfare all the time. We're here to develop ourselves. That's the point. It's okay to be a warrior. It's okay to battle with people. There's a time and place for that. But we're here to develop, and we're here to realize ourselves and become our best selves. So we can't lose sight of that, because when you get involved in warfare, it's easy to get attached to certain ideas and certain concepts that take you off your path. So other than that, that's what I'm going to wrap it up. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button. And once again, where you'll be able to find the Patreon is the first link in the description. Definitely make sure you go and you check that out. The second link below will take you to my Facebook community. When you go there, you're going to see a pinned post. This is a private group. Click that, request to join the private group, and I will add you in. Right now, I think there's somewhere around like 30 people. I want to get to 50 people before I start posting consistently. On there, what I have is pictorial quotes and other content in the form of written. So definitely make sure you go and you check that out. But once again, other than that, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.